Welcome to AFO Wealth Management Forward, a podcast powered by Arrowroot Family Office that's at the intersection of accounting, wealth management, behavioral finance, technology, and entrepreneurship. We help accounting firms and financial advisors grow their practice by going beyond the numbers as we learn from industry leaders and subject matter experts to discover the secret to their success. A podcast that highlights everything from the transformative power of AI to embracing the human-first approach of behavioral finance to help you understand the psychological and emotional relationships to money and meaning. Here is your host, Rory Henry, Director at Arrowroot Family Office and author of Holistic Guide to Wealth Management.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am thrilled to have our next guest joining me today. She is an investment advisor, financial planner, and CFO at Profile and Investment Services. She's also the creator of Financial Date Discussion Cards, which is a tool to help couples have easier, more meaningful money conversation. She believes money talk isn't just about the numbers, it's about understanding what money means to each person and how that shapes a life together. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend, BatSheva Goldstein. BatSheva, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here today.
Yes,
Talk about money talks.
Money talks, right? We're going to have some money talks. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I love what you're doing with these money dates cards because you're sparking conversations. So before we kind of get into some cards here and some great questions, why don't you give our audience a quick background on yourself and what led you to create the money cards?
Well, you know how it is that a couple will come to a financial advisor and they'll talk at each other and not have a conversation, and they sort of can't agree about what's going on. I'm sure you've seen this, yes?
Yeah, yep, of course, yes.
So I thought there had to be a better way of helping people have easier money conversations. And over the years of helping people with their financial plans, I realized that the discord and the conflict is rarely about the numbers itself. It's not about the math. It's about what the dollars mean and what they represent. And we have to dive into the subtext of money talks and figure out what people are really talking about.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what people are really talking about when it comes to money, because money's deeply rooted in identity, right? There's emotion to it. You know, our relationship to money, as I always talk about, is formed early in life. We have generational influences. Can you kind of talk about how the cards are designed to really open up these conversations for couples here?
Sure. You know, everyone has a money story. And I like to say it's like a ball. Everyone's past, present, and future, they're juggling all at the same time because your past money story affects what's happening today, and what's happening today affects what you think for the future. And when you're in a relationship, you're not only juggling your own three balls, but you're juggling your partner or your spouse's three balls.
Right.
And I'm not a juggler, but there are very few people who can keep all six balls in the air without falling. And it's the interplay between the balls, which is really important. So the financial date discussion cards works on understanding your money story and your spouse's money story, and helps you realize how your past shapes your present and your future.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the questions then here, BatSheva, that really sparked the conversation to really understand, you know, our partner's money story. You know, what are some of the leading questions in those cards that really can be the first step in opening up that dialogue?
So before we talk about a few questions, let's just talk more about what the cards are designed to do. That they're designed to align couples. And two different people, you don't always need to agree on everything, but you need to be on the same path forward and know that your compass is pointing in the same direction, even if you have different paths to get there. So so you know, in you know, well, in improv, like you always want to give someone a yes and to build on. So the financial date questions try to give that yes and to build on. So couples are really on the same team. So one question that's in the beginning of the deck to start the conversation on a positive note is what's a financial decision that you're proud of?
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but having such a question instantly changes the
Yeah.
conversation because everyone likes to tell stories. So here you are telling a story of something that you're proud of, and it's something that you feel good about, and it builds momentum.
Yeah.
Um, and it helps the partners remember that they're part of a team, and they're moving forward. Because
Yeah.
when you start off strong, you're more open to vulnerabilities later on in a conversation. So you could start strong now, and then be open to tweaks or questions that you might not have been open to before.
Yeah. That gets you starting off on the right foot. I mean, positive psychology, Martin Seligman, building off of
Mhm.
your strengths allows people to have those, more maybe intense conversations later on. So I like to start off with that positive question. Now, I know that you just stated that, we're looking to align our values, and I do values-based exercises, when I work with clients, because that is allows us to root our decisions in those values. Can you kind of talk about, some of the values-based questions in there that allows couples to align their spending, saving, and investing decisions?
Sure. Many questions, even if it doesn't have the word value in it, could be
Hmm.
designed as a value question. Because even the question I just said, what's a financial decision you're proud of? That shows a value. Um, do you want to try answering it?
um, yeah, that is a good question, Bathsheba. You put me on the spot. What's one financial decision I'm proud of? Well, I mean, just because it's top of mind, you just referenced it. I say signing up for that improv class, over 10 years ago and spending the $300 and taking that leap of faith was something that changed my life. I frequently talk about on the podcast. And so that's an investment. That was an investment decision in my personal growth that changed the trajectory of my life. And it's something that, I always point to as a pivotal moment in time that allowed me to grow as a person.
That's great because it shows that you value self-education and self-improvement,
Hmm.
and also I'm going to guess making people laugh and
Well,
and
I hope
making
so.
people feel comfortable in themselves.
Uh,
So
I hope that she is. Sometimes it's uncomfortable and it's not
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, but having those improv skills help you turn the conversation to the direction where you want it to go and build teamwork. So that decision shows values.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were going to answer that question,
Yeah.
what
Let's throw it
financial
back to you,
decision
Bathsheba. Yeah.
I'm proud of. And this is interesting because sometimes I advise couples that they should both answer the same question. But if the couple is really competitive, I'll say they should just flip the next question because you don't want people saying, "Oh, who has the best answer?"
Right.
Um, so there's some leeway with that.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say probably one of the financial decisions I'm most proud of is years ago, my husband Doug came home from a lecture given
Hmm.
by Howard Jonas, who is the founder of IDT and a
Hmm.
huge philanthropist.
Hmm.
And Doug came home and he told me, I don't remember anything about the topic at hand, but I do remember an offhand comment that Howard made that he said he gave 20% of his income to charity.
Hmm.
And that's really cool. Do you think
Yeah.
that's something we could do? And
Yeah.
back then it was hard. Um, but it sounded really cool. Like to give that 20%, which is pretty much the equivalent of what we were spending in our groceries. So we weren't only feeding ourselves, but we were feeding the world.
Yeah.
Um, and doing that. And since then, charity has been a big part of our values and a big part of where we go in making the world a better place.
I love it. I love it.
So that's a sign of that's values with financial decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I think the goal is to try to make the world a better place. And obviously, money conversations have been a taboo topic, Bathsheba. And that's what you
Mhm.
and I both advocate for is having these conversations because As we stated, we're working with different operating systems many times, and sometimes our default settings are of our relationship to money, which is formed early on. We have our emotional triggers. We end up talking past each other, and so having something like these money cards, I see as something that advisors can really use to start the conversation. Can you kind of talk about how advisors are actually using these cards in an actual meeting?
Well, I think that the cards here, let's show them.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's show them if aren't being used by the advisors in the meeting themselves because
Okay.
they're financial date cards. They're meant for the couple at home to discuss and flip a card, flip the conversation. They're the goal is to get the couple aligned before they have that meeting with the advisor
Yeah.
to make the advisor's life easier.
Hmm.
So the advisor, when they come into their office, um, they know what they want,
Yeah.
and and they know why they want it, and they know their goals, and it makes the advisor's life that much easier choosing the strategic decisions. It also helps because clients know that their advisor values their
Yeah.
values, and that builds a connection not only between the couple but between the client and the advisor,
Advisor.
and that helps so much with client retention,
Yeah.
as especially now when so many widows tend to leave their advisor
Yeah.
after their husband passes away. So if you have a connection with your clients, hopefully it will be a long-term relationship.
Yeah. This is a great way to get the non-CFO spouse involved, because it's not necessarily financial jargon or numbers that some people might get intimidated by. It's a way to open up a conversation around values and life goals. So I find it excellent. Now, what are you advising clients on as far as how they set up these money dates? Are they lighting candles? Are they putting on music? What are you advising as far as how they should operate when it comes to these money dates?
Well, I'm not gonna script the date for them. I'm just providing the script.
Yeah.
It could be as casual as over dinner when there's a quiet minute, having the cards on the table and going through them, or as romantic as going on a picnic with everything and taking your bottle of wine and your box of cards.
Yeah.
I had someone who told me that she was on a 14-hour cross country trip with her boyfriend, and they were flipping the cards in the car.
Yeah.
Um, I had someone else who told me that she and her husband were having disagreements, and as a way to get together after the disagreement, they went through some cards to show that they're on a common ground.
Yeah.
So the only thing I suggest is don't go through the entire box of 50 questions at one time, because
Hmm.
because it shows that um, you because you need to devote more time and energy to a question, and if you're just
Yeah.
flipping them,
You dive deeper.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, what
Should we
other?
dive in?
Yeah, let's dive deeper. Let's go into some more questions here about Shiva.
Okay. So another question, which might be my favorite question,
Yeah.
is when did you wish you had more money?
Ah.
Because I like that because it's not a complaining question. You're not complaining, oh, I wish I could do this or I wish I could do that. But surfacing when you wished you had more money at a specific time. So it shows what you value.
Yeah.
Um, Daniel Kahneman talks about you feel loss aversion a lot more
Right.
than pleasure. So by pinpointing what the scarcity is, do you wish that you had more money to pay for piano lessons for your kid,
Hmm.
or to buy a new house, or what it was that you wanted more money for? It directs you to what your values
Very
are,
valuable. Yeah.
and and by having that landmark about what's important to you, it helps you and your spouse make benchmarks for the future.
Benchmarks. Yeah. Have those goals in
So
mind.
yeah, so knowing why you want more money and not just having more.
Yeah. Not just having more money.
Because as an advisor, you know that having more money just amplifies whatever problems you have.
Right. More money, more problems, right? uh,
Yes, yes.
like the rap song. Now, I use something a little different. I've talked to clients and I said, if you had something like $1,000 more or something that's appropriate, what would you spend it on? Because that, gives them
Mhm,
some ability to articulate, if they had a little bit extra money, what they do value.
mhm. Right, because so that question is letting them dream bigger.
Yeah.
And the cards help you dream bigger. Um, yeah, it's rare to find an advisor like you who believes in the holistic view and wants to incorporate the emotional side and not just the numbers. Why do you think it is that other advisors aren't into this holistic space and take a step away from emotions?
Because emotions are difficult and they're not black and white, BatSheva. And so it can be uncomfortable to have these conversations. But I think as you experience and I've experienced, it is that much more rewarding when you can dive deeper and really understand
Mhm.
what a client's hopes, dreams, fears, and aspirations are. And that's when you can have the real transformative impact on a client's life because you just understand them on a deeper, more meaningful level.
Absolutely. Isn't it said that we're not thinking machines with feelings, but we're feeling
Feeling
machines with
machines.
thoughts?
Yeah.
Um, and 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 so often clients make decisions that they think are logical, but really they're the
Right.
driven, and only in retrospect, like they're trying to justify
Justify
what
it.
they did.
It's our reptilian right brain that many times is forcing those decisions and they rationalize it afterwards.
Yes, yes.
Well, great. Let's, shift a little bit here because we're moving into this world of AI. I'm building AI tools. It's giving insight into, who we are, what decisions we make, looking at just debits and credits, but also just having that feedback within client meetings and looking at the transcripts and identifying opportunities or identifying concerns that a client may have. Can you
Mhm.
talk about, how we can have conversations, in this AI driven world where we have technology, but it's really that human connection, that is really impactful when working with clients.
AI is great. I love tech tools as much as the next person.
Yeah,
And probably anything I say about AI today is going to be outdated by the
absolutely.
time this this publishes, because it keeps on changing. But there's something to be said for holding something physical in your hand,
Ah,
um, especially something like a card, because it brings back those memories of you as a child playing
playing
with
cards.
cards.
Yeah.
Um, Holding something physical grounds you in moments that could be
Hmm.
stressful. And we know that financial conversations could be stressful, gives you something to fiddle with and to
Yeah.
um and to play with, and to calm yourself down when things may not be going your are difficult to deal with. AI is great. It could chop numbers and um
Well,
and plan forward, but the AI can't, as of today, can't get into your brain and understand your why.
yeah. I think it's more of a self-soothing thing. I think folks are using it to get responses to their own emotional state. But when you're dealing with two humans, you don't have an AI mediator necessarily, well, working with both folks. So, so having physical cards like what you have there, Shiva, is something that can help two people have a better relationship with each other. So, I do like the physical nature of the cards there.
The emotional meaning that people put to money. I can't figure out how you get a KPI and insert that into a database. Um,
Yeah. There's no EPI, right? Emotional indicator. Yeah,
right.
yeah, I think as we continue to move forward here, AI is being integrated into our lives. But I don't know if people necessarily have the tools. And I think having these conversations that are stimulated by something like the money cards there about Shiva at least helps clients or folks out there, start that conversation. I think people don't have the tools is what we don't have. We're not given these money cards in grade school, right? Which we probably should,
Right.
start having those
Mhm.
conversations with our partners and then with our kids as well.
Clients, advisors have so many different things they need to juggle when they're meeting with the client, that it helps if the emotional work was done before they come to the office.
Yeah.
Um, it also helps when markets fluctuate and plans may go a little bit awry. If a client knows their why, they're they're not going to pick up the phone so often to call their advisor and say, "Hey, maybe we should sell. Maybe we should do this," and then the advisor doesn't need to walk them off the cliff and remind them about their whys.
Yeah. Let's go back to the return on relationship. You can deal with market fluctuations, right? But if the client knows you understand them as a human and what their goals are, and hopefully helping them live a better life, they can deal with market fluctuations. Or for the business owner clients out there on our accounting side, if you really understand what someone wants in their business, you can better advise them to help them meet those goals and aspirations.
Absolutely. What tools have you been using up until now?
Well, I do have a values exercise that we do use, and then I use the visioning of our future self as a way to help people put pen to paper on what they want out of for their future self. So those are the two tools that I've been using. But Shiva, I'm gonna get a set of cards from you, and I'm gonna start working with clients
Excellent.
to have those money conversations. I think it's a great way to give people homework that'll help them connect and understand more about their partners.
Yes, yes. Because at the end of the day, we all want people to have better money conversations and to feel better about their money decisions, and have them easier to make, because it's not about the dollars, it's about the values that drive them.
Yeah, I agree here. Well, this has been fantastic, Bathsheba. Is there any questions that you want to cover that we didn't talk about, or any other insights on how we can have more effective
Mhm.
conversations around money?
You want to flip another card and
Let's
answer
do
another
it.
question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. So here's a here's a question which is unlikely both spouses or partners will answer the same way.
Yeah.
So, what makes you feel rich?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Some people could answer like with wealth of time, that they feel rich when they could take a day off of work or
Yeah.
have a slow morning.
No,
Other people might answer with like the wealth of experience. So they want
yeah,
to.
it's yeah, and I lean more towards experiences and growing as a person and hopefully as a partner as well, and taking on challenges. Some of my values are relationships, creativity, challenges. And so, stepping out into the unknown and building something meaningful is something that I do value. So I would say rich experiences and then taking on challenges and hopefully having an impact on your family, your friends, and the community at large is something that I do cherish here about Shiva.
That's great. It's it's a challenge when there are different things that make partners feel rich, and they need to find the common ground, and then there's the challenge for the advisor to help create a financial plan that
Yeah,
respects both people. Because if someone wants to keep the spreadsheet on track, and so that makes them feel rich, that they check off all the tick boxes, and the other one wants to go out
yeah,
a few times a week with
have
the
experiences.
family. So
Yeah,
so you have to honor both of those experiences of feeling rich
yeah,
in a way that both partners feel heard. Because if
yeah,
they don't feel heard, then they're not going to be all in on the plan.
yeah. I agree, and with obviously divorce rates, more than 50%, I think having something like this, BatSheva, it would improve those numbers and improve the relationships of folks out there, because money obviously is a major stressor for folks out there. American Psychological Association continues to be topped by money as the number one stressor. So having these conversations and really understanding our partners' relationship to money, I think can improve not only stress, but the well-being of relationships out there. So is there any other questions here that we can leave our audience with here, BatSheva?
So I don't want to give away all the
All
questions
right, we've had three, I think.
because yeah, because the magic is in the deck, and part of the experience is discovering the questions together.
Yeah.
And but what's really crucial is that when you're answering the correct questions, to not is not only answer the question by yourself, but to see what the other thinks, and
Mm-hmm.
and to live in that dichotomy between the two answers, um, because that's where the real work in
Beauty happens.
alignment happens.
Yeah.
Because alignment isn't just agreeing.
Right. It's finding that common
You
ground.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're striving for the same thing, even if you have different approaches.
Yeah.
Because if you want to minimize financial stress leading to divorce, or even financial stress inside of a otherwise strong marriage, you
Yeah.
have to feel heard
Yeah.
and honor
And
the other.
understood. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, BatSheva, if folks want to get the money cards, what's the best way to do so?
So the best way is to go to financialdate.com, and there's a buy button there. But for listeners of your show, if they email me at batsheva at financialdate, BATSHEVA, I'll be happy to send them a discount code for the cards. Um, so this way they could check them out, and for themselves and for their clients, and we could make people have easier, more meaningful conversations.
I love it. BatSheva, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'll put all that information on the show notes. Keep up the good work out
Great.
there. I absolutely love what you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me. Take
Thank you.
care.
Take care.
All opinions expressed by Rob Santos and Rory Henry on this website podcast interview are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Arrowroot Family Office LLC or their parent company or affiliates, and may have been previously disseminated on television, radio, internet, or another medium. You should not treat any opinion expressed by anyone as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinions. Past performance is not indicative of future results.